perfectly cooked, smoky, charred noodles that is the essence of a hawker-style Char Kway Teow. My version brings all the bold, smoky flavours of the street, but with some very clever shortcuts that make it easier than ever. I've got shortcuts for noodles, I've got shortcuts for the spicy chili sambal paste. Just wait and see how easy this is, my friends. This is my version of a weeknight Char Kway Teow. Char Kway Teow is one of those noodle dishes that seems very simple, but is actually very difficult to execute at home really well. So I have a few little tricks that I use to get a really legit version done, but without all the hassle. Now, the first thing I'm going to get ready are my noodles. So one of the biggest problems with making this dish at home is access to fresh rice noodles. Now, what I like to do is actually keep these dried flat rice noodles in my pantry because these are a great substitute, and it means you don't have to do that trip to the Asian grocer when you decide, hey, I want Char Kway Teow tonight, you know what I mean? So the trick to using these though and getting the best out of them is to soak them first. So I get them in here, I'll soak the noodles and then get all the rest of my ingredients ready. And why would I do that? Because I'm going to cook these in boiling water later, right? But the reason is that the soaking kind of gives you a more even cook once these hit the boiling water. I find when I cook them straight into boiling water and cook them from dried, they're fine, but they kind of tend to get a bit sticky and gluggy in the pan when I'm stir frying them later. So if you have that problem, do this. Okay, put these away. For the stir fry sauce, you need Chinese light soy sauce, oyster sauce, fish sauce, sugar, black pepper, and a dash of dark sweet soy sauce. The second sauce I'm going to make is the Samabal sauce, which is the sauce you need at the end when you're eating this dish. So when I'm eating this in Singapore or Malaysia, I find that the sambal is always like the pride and joy of the hawker stall or the restaurant you're eating it at. And you know, they make it from scratch. I would typically make it from scratch, but I'm trying to give you like a weeknight solution here. So I start with sambal oelek first because this is really easy to find in any supermarket. And yes, it says sambal, but it's not the sambal that you get at the hawker centre because this is just like a really fresh chili paste. It's tangy, it's got a bit of vinegar, but it doesn't have like the kind of deep, fishy, umami, shallot kind of flavour that a good sambal in Singapore and Malaysia would have. So what I do, very untraditionally, is add a little bit of this, which is a Thai num prik pao. So it's a Thai chili paste, but this one is made with some dried shrimp, some dried shallot. So it kind of gives you that cooked down umami funkiness that you would get if you made this from scratch with the dried chilies, the fresh chilies, the dried shrimp, the shallots, all the things. So it takes a while. I do have a recipe on how to make this from scratch on my channel, but just getting two sauces and mixing them together on a weeknight is so much easier. Okay, so now look, we have this really funky kind of chili sambal paste, and it has not just spice, but also that kind of like funky fishiness. Love it. Love, love, love. Okay. There are another couple of things that you'll need to keep in your freezer or pantry in order to make this anytime you want. One is fish cakes. Asian fish cakes, you want thin slices. You could just go with prawns or you could just go with chicken or pork. But I'm trying to give you the vibe of an authentic version without all the hassle. The other ingredient here that is worth noting is the Chinese sausage. Again, this is now quite widely available in most supermarkets, mainstream supermarkets even here in Australia. And I always keep, whoops.
They call it Chinese sausage in China.
I would assume not. I believe these are called lapchong.
Lapchong.
That's right.
It's up from lapchong.
That's what you say. It always sounds so wrong when you speak Asian languages. But I'm sure everyone appreciates that you tried. Okay, Chinese sausage. I think we're pretty good here. My other protein is going to be some prawns. Noodles are next up to get done. So I've had these soaking, I don't know, like 20 minutes or so. And they're softened, so they're bendy, but obviously not cooked. So now I want to get my noodles in the hot water. And they are quite thick, so they'll take a couple of minutes here to cook. The noodles are starting to get a little bit more kind of like bendy, but they're not quite, they've still got a little bit of sort of firmness through the centre. But we're not far off, I reckon seconds.
Set the alarm.
You set the alarm. I'm busy. Oh wait, you're busy too.
5 seconds.
Dax's broadcast live voice.
3 seconds.
3 seconds. 3. Okay, we're good. All right. So this is the kind of texture you're after. They're just cooked. They're nice and pliable and soft. Nobody wants a soggy noodle. Okay, now we can get stir frying. This is probably the most important ingredient in a good char kway teow. So to get that wok hei flavour, you want to heat your wok up until it's like scary hot. It also helps if you've got a seasoned wok. So I always use a carbon steel seasoned wok. The Mako wok is one that I love. This is this one. And that kind of like seasoning that happens here, so you can see that film of like oil and the build-up of all those fats and that deep dark colour, that is what gives you that beautiful smoky wok hei flavour. So I can already smell it. As the wok heats up, if you've got a seasoned carbon steel wok, you should be able to smell it as it heats. And we just wait for that scary moment. While I'm doing that, I'm going to beat some eggs. Oops, try not to get the shell in there, that would be helpful. Should have done it one-handed, Dax.
Shall we? Come on.
See? See, that's not great. Anyway.
I love the one hand.
I know you love the one-handed. Why? Oh, you like it too, Sheree? Right.
I want to learn how to do it.
Okay, well don't learn from me because I'm not very good at it. Okay, so have a look at this wok now. You see, look at the smoke. We can see smoke. Now I'm going to add the oil. Hot wok, cold oil means things won't stick. And then throw in the garlic. Just give it a toss until it's just fragrant. Then add in your prawns, Chinese sausage, and fish cakes. The thing I love about making this at home is that, like, whenever you're getting like a hawker stall or a restaurant to make this, they always skimp you out on the prawns. You know what I mean? Sorry, I didn't mean to throw shade at the hawker stalls, FYI. I love you guys.
Blacklisted.
I know, right? Next time I turn up in Asia, they're going to be like, no char kway teow for you.
No for you.
It's just a matter of economics, right? Okay, now when your prawns look like they're just cooked, so they've just turned pink and translucent, you can just kind of push everything over to the side here. I might grab a little bit more oil, throw some egg in. Just let that egg set for a bit. I mean, I like to kind of move it around, just spread it out. Okay, now you can mix everything together. Now we're going in with noodles and they will look sticky and not right. But trust the process, my friends. Now we add the sauce. And now things will happen with the noodles. Char kway teow is a dry style of noodle dish. So what I want are for those noodles to get kind of charred on the edges, soak up all the sauce. That's what we're waiting for here. See how the heat and the sauce just separates those noodles so they're beautiful and glossy, they're not too sticky. Last thing I want to do here is throw in some spring onion. Garlic chives would be a little more traditional, some bean shoots. Oh, this is the kind of wok cooking that makes me so happy. This is looking good. Now we're ready to plate up. So the joy of this dish is like right now where you're smelling all of that smokiness and you're literally, my mouth is literally watering, okay? This is how we do it. We get in with a bit of our Samabal here, mix it in. Oh, look at that. Salty, smoky noodle. Like that's the real star of the show here. And then that spicy sambal gives you a bit of a kick. God, that's good. Yum. I mean, my favourite place to eat this is obviously at a hawker centre in Asia. But if I can't get there, this is a good substitute.
Especially if you're blacklisted.